for the state Small Business Capital Credit Initiative. And tonight he's here to talk about 6 awesome programs that I think our small business owners should take advantage of to help them, especially in result of COVID. He will come on and introduce himself and let us know exactly what it is that what they do in this program and how they can accommodate, as well as talk about the 6 programs that are available to small businesses. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Jay. You can proceed.
Thank you so much, Kenya. And
welcome.
good night, everyone. How are you? My name is Jose Arias Arroyo, and I'm the program manager of SSBCI Capital Access Programs at ESD, Empire State Development. So a little something about me. Let's have this as a free-flowing conversation. I think those are the best ones because those are the most informative. I joined the ESD team a little over 3 months ago on the Capital Access team. So I'm working with, we have an amazing team at Capital Access, and it's just really inspiring to see what the small business community can actually accomplish here in New York State. It's always what we say, and it's that New York State is defined by small businesses. From the fashion retail store in the corner to the mom and pop pizza shop in the corner, that's what defines New York State, and that's what makes our state so great, so diverse, and it's like they say, it's a melting pot. And it's not only because of the people, but also what we do, the businesses that we create here. That's what makes New York so great. So, what is ESD, you might ask? For those of you who don't know, Empire State Development is the Chief Economic Development Agency in New York State. We are one of the several departments, if you want to call it that, and we are tasked, like I said before, with the development of programs that can actually push forward with economic development across the state. And our work has been key in this new era that we're living through. We are living through an historic events, such as the pandemic and the post-pandemic recovery. And I cannot wait to tell you more about what we're doing on the SSBCI side and how we think that this is actually very helpful for small businesses, no matter the size. So how about we just move forward and start talking about a little more about what is SSBCI. You might come across this this acronym a lot, but SSBCI stands for the Small Business Credit Initiative. Let me just move. Okay, there we go. So the SSBCI, the State Small Business Credit Initiative, it's part of a bigger economic stimulus act that was signed into law by President Biden on March 11th of 2021. And that act was $1.9 trillion. But out of those $1.9 trillion, $10 billion were allocated specifically, managed by the US Treasury, to fund the second iteration of SSBCI. And what it looks to do, it's just fund programs for small businesses in order to help them recover from the effects of the pandemic and also allow them to succeed into this new economy of ours. Like, as I was saying, things are not the same. Things have changed. We are going from what used to be brick and mortar stores to a more technological side of things, where a lot of stores are closing their doors, but not necessarily because they're going out of business, but also because they have to adapt to the new reality. And part of that new reality is just moving into, virtual stores. I saw that a lot when I was previously working with a nonprofit based in the Bronx. I saw a lot of small businesses closing, stores like clothing stores, hardware stores, so on and so forth, tech stuff. They were moving all of their operations to the virtual side. So that's what we do. That's why these programs are created, in order for allowing them to better adapt to this new reality of ours. So what does the SSBCI initiative creates? So the Treasury funds the states. In this case, New York State was awarded with $500 million to create these programs that I'm talking about. And you know what? Let's just go to the next slide, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what our programs are, how they're funded, and what can they do for you. So this is a quick overview of all of our SSBCI programs. So we're going to be focusing on the first 6 programs that you see on screen. Those are the DEB programs, how we call them. We have a total of 10 SSBCI programs. 6 of them are DEB programs managed by the Capital Access team, my team. Well, not my team, but the team that I represent, totaling for a total of $282 million. And 4 equity program teams, totaling for $219 million. And that's managed by the NY Ventures and Nice Stars teams over at ESD. So all of these programs have in common is that they focus on, we would like to put our focus on 2 specific sectors, 2 specific groups of people throughout the state, and those are the SETI and the VSBs. You might be saying, well, I might know VSB, but I haven't heard that much about SETI. SETI basically stands for socially and economically distressed individuals, disadvantaged individuals, sorry. And it's groups that have been historically disadvantaged throughout history. So it's not only based on race. This also applies to immigrants, veterans. Those are 2 of the main groups that, aside from race, can also be considered SETIs. So we put our focus on SETI-owned businesses and also VSBs. What is VSBs? Businesses that very small businesses. Now let's move forward to basically a quick breakdown of what our programs are and how much they're funded for. So first, we have the Capital Project Loan Fund. This is a completely new program, and its funding is the biggest one out of all of the debt programs, with a total of 106 allocated for that specific fund. We move forward to the Small Business Revolving Loan Fund. This is the second iteration of this program. So we usually internally we call it SBRLF2, standing for the name of the program, part 2. Basically, this is an expansion, and its funding is for $55 million. The New York Forward Loan Fund expanded as well with SSBCI funds with a total funding of $47 million. The Capital Access program, which is the program that me and my colleague Morgan Clark manage over at ESD, it was expanded as well using SSBCI funds with a total of $29.4 million in funding. And last but not least, the 2 remaining programs, those are the Contractor Financing Revolving Loan Fund, completely new program as well, for a total of $22 million. And lastly, the Bonding Guarantee Program, expanded using these funds for a total of $22 million. Now, let's move forward to a quick breakdown of what they are, specifically what they do, how they can help you, and how you can apply for these. So let's see. Okay, great. Let me just move this out of the way. Okay, good. So first of them, the Capital Project Loan Fund. This looks to provide direct loans for growth or manufacturing and other eligible businesses within New York State by financing a portion of the cost of acquiring and renovating existing buildings. What does this mean? This is the only program out of the portfolio, out of the 6, where ESD is actually the direct lender of the money. And this is destined for bigger projects in scale. So just recently on May 25th, we just helped, we were upstate at Chester, New York, with Chester Agricultural Center, where we just launched a program. We just helped them expand their operations they're a firm that basically leases their lands in their farms for cities and also VSPs in order for work the land and later on have their own businesses, having their own small businesses. How can you apply for this? You can always contact the CPLF at esd.ny.gov, and we'll make sure to contact you right away with more information. But again, this program is specifically tailored for bigger projects in scope, so manufacturing, the creation of factories for, it's a bigger scale altogether. Now, we move over to the Small Business Revolving Loan Fund. In short terms, this looks to provide shorter term loans because, as the name implies, it's revolving loan. To provide shorter term microloans and loans, typically under $250,000. And the funds all of them have to be used either for one of these purposes listed on screen. So working capital, the acquisition and improvement of real estate, the acquisition of machinery or other types of equipment, or refinancing the debt obligations of the program. This program is managed by our very awesome Matthew Kennedy. He's based at Albany. So if you want to apply, you can always visit this website, and it's going to give you a list of the CDFIs. Most likely you already know what CDFIs are, but in case you don't, CDFI stands for Community Development Financial Institutions. So in this case, from this point forward, ESD is no longer the lender, but basically we work with lending partners and they take on the responsibility of serving the community with the funds that we provide. Again, you can always visit this website. You're gonna be able to see a list of the CFIs in your area, but we're gonna talk a little bit more about our website in a few minutes. By the way, let me see. I see something in. Okay. Hi, Randy. So yeah, we're going to be sharing this presentation, so don't worry. Thank you so much for joining us. So the New York Forward Loan Fund. This looks to provide flexible and low interest loans for small businesses via an online application. And usually these loans are under $150,000. You can always go on the website and go on our website, and it's going to direct you to the right information. You can always apply over there. That way, it tells you where to go, which CDFI, in what area, if you qualify or not. It's a really nice UI that we have over there. Now, the Capital Access Program. And this is the program that me and Morgan are obsessed about because, again, I mean, this is the one that we manage, right? So the Capital Access Program, long story short, it just provides a loan loss reserve for the CDFIs that apply to be a part of that program. So what does that mean? Let's say that CDFI X applies to be a lender in the CAP program. We enroll them and they start basically handing out loans for small businesses. Let's say that in the future, God forbid, but the loan goes into default because, hey, things happen, COVID happened. And a lot of this stuff happened back in 2020 during the first iteration of CAP. This is actually the second iteration. But basically, when the loan defaults, at the moment of the enrollment, basically the underwriting of the loan, there's always a little deposit that is set aside and put into our reserve. So the more loans that a CDFI starts to give out, the bigger that loan loss reserve gets. So let's say that a $10,000 loan goes on default right after it's, I don't know, maybe 50% paid. So there's $5,000 remaining to be paid. After a while, after the CDFI establishes that, hey, you know what, we can definitely not get this money back because we try to contact the borrower and he cannot make it with their obligations. So you know what? Let me take money from the reserve. That means that CDFI does not lose the money. As when they go through our process, they can get that money back. Of course, there's some restrictions, but why is this a good thing? Because it increases the financing opportunities that all of the CDFI provides. Why is that? This is the mindset that they might have. Wait a minute. If I can put money into a reserve, that means that I no longer have to worry that much about the possibilities of default, because if it ever happens, I have this reserve which I can tap right away. And again, this is one of the most amazing programs because it kind of works in the background. You don't know that it's happening, but it definitely increases it boosts the opportunities of financing through small businesses. We've had businesses like stores, fashion stores, people doing logistics, even something as simple as being a taxi driver. You'll be surprised. Let's say a taxi driver that wants to fix the car, maybe the transmission went bad, but they don't really have the $5,000 that it costs to fix it. They can just step into one of our participating lenders and say, hey, look, this is my means of living. These are my records saying that, yes, this is my primary source income. I would like a loan in order to keep working. We give you the loan. And again, it works in the background. You wouldn't even notice that it's there unless you're told, but an amazing program altogether. How can you know more about this? Just visit our website, the one that we're going to be talking a little bit more in a few minutes. So let's go to the remaining two programs. Okay, last but not least, we have the Contractor Financing Revolving Loan Fund. And this serves one purpose, and it's to deploy working capital for those contractors in the city and the VSD communities that they definitely need this working capital in order to deploy those contracts, in order to abide by their obligations in those government contracts. So a good example of this is the Buffalo Bills project upstate, where currently they're building the new stadium. So part of that stadium is funded by the government. So the government is tasked with, contracting some, well, not necessarily contracting, but they contracted a prime. That's what you call the big guy, basically. And that prime starts getting the small contractors, So let's say that an African American or a Latino or an Asian American that have a electrical company, and they get a contract for $150,000, but they don't really have that capital at the moment. They can tap into this program, and and if they qualify, funds will be disbursed. And the collateral basically is just the program itself, the project itself, the contract that they apply for. And lastly, and the bonding guarantee program is the one that I see that people don't usually tap into because it's really, really specific. But the bonding guarantee program, it looks into provide access to bid bonds. And for those of you who don't know, a good way for you to understand what bonding is that some contracts, they kind of require this guarantee from the contractor, and that guarantee is usually given by surety companies. That's how it's called. So it's kind of like a certificate where the surety companies say, look, Jose, he owns let's say a scaffolding business, and they need to do some scaffolding, but you definitely need this certificate. So yes, I am certifying that Jose will abide by his contract, by his obligation. And if not, I'm going to be held responsible. So it's basically that, just a guarantee. So how can you apply for this? Again, just visit our website. And this is managed by our amazing AVP of Capital Access Programs, Wei Ming Xuan. Just access through the website, which is in the next slide. Let me just take you through. This is our website right here. It's a really interactive way for you to know what specific is it that you need. So you know what? You know what would be a good idea? Let me just take you over there. Let's see it in action. What do you say, Kenya?
I say yes, go for it. Thank you.
Let's do it. So let me just start sharing my screen. Let me bring it up real quick. And SSBCI. Okay, there we go. Let me just share my screen again. Can you all see my screen? Kenya, can you see it?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so this is our website right here. It's gonna take you through everything basically that I just said. Hopefully you don't log off after this, you know. So right here, this is the tool that I was telling you about. So it asks you, what type of organization do you have? So let's say that you are a business, right? Okay, what stage of the business you're in? So let's say, since we're talking with
Jose,
through, yeah,
is there any way that you can put this link in the chat? We have
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely. You know what? Let me send it right now. By the way, guys, that pretty much covers the deck that I was presenting. So let's have a free-flowing conversation. Any questions that you might have after I show you around the website, just throw them in the chat, and me and Kenya will be looking into the chat box. Okay, great. So since we're talking EAC here, let's say that we're looking to start a business, right? What type of financing are you looking for? So let's say that you're looking into working capital because you need that boost in funds in order to get your program started. Okay. And what type of industry do you currently operate? And let's say that you are, let's say retail, right? Filter programs. And here we go. It brings you the two programs that the algorithm thinks that are the best for you in this scenario. So there it is, the CAP program, love to see it. And also the SBRLF number 2. You can also see all of the details on all of the other programs. You can always reset this. This is also great for lenders because they can come through here. Let's say that you know someone from a CDFI and they are currently not enrolled into an SSBCI program. They can also come into the website and say, look, this is what we do. This is the group that we want to help, and it brings them all of the options where those lenders can apply. Okay, great. So let me go back. Okay. Great.
Jose, really quick, there was a question in the chat about grants, about business grants.
Okay, so right now, ESD doesn't really give out grants for small businesses in the sense that we're not the direct, basically agency that gives out the grants. So what we do is we connect. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Randy. So we connect with, let's say, nonprofits like, let's say Sobro in the Bronx, or Bach in Brooklyn and Manhattan, Canva. Most of these you might have heard about, maybe not. And we task them into basically giving out these grants for us into the vetting process, you know. But a lot of opportunities usually come by, and we're also planning on launching this great tool in which we're going to be able to connect more directly with the community. We're going to be increasing our outreach efforts in the upcoming weeks. So you know what would be a good idea, Kenya? How about if you can send me all of the emails from the attendees, because I am the one overseeing that project. Basically, it's going to serve as a newsletter, but also one of those emails that you get informing you of the new things. I promise I won't get annoying with those. I promise. And Kenny's there. Kenny can actually call me out in case that I do it.
I would want the ones that are on now to just okay that, say, put your email in the chat if you want me to send this information to Jose. Thank you.
Okay, Mary, I see a question from Mary. So what are the benefits using these types of loans compared to other loan providers? What do they expect for? So that's an amazing question, Mary. Thank you so much for coming through with that one. So the main benefit from this one is that the interest rates are usually very low when compared to the other loan providers. So where sometimes you will see, let's say, and again, this is at the discretion, of course, of our lending partners. So I'm not gonna call out for specific numbers. Rather, I'm gonna give you ranges. So where some of the lenders from outside that are not currently participating into SSBCI programs, you'll see that the interest rates go anywhere between 10 and up. You're going to see that the SSBCI programs, SSBCI funded lenders usually are anywhere between 4 to 7%. And that ultimately comes with the benefit of costing less, because that's, at the end of the day, that's the goal. It's just empowering the lenders so they can further empower the communities. And that's why we also partner specifically with CDFIs, because their main goal in this case is just helping the community. It's not profiting from it, but rather just helping develop the community. You're also going to find that a lot of CDFIs are usually also nonprofits at the same time, and they just happen to have that basically financing arm, that financing division. Okay. By the way, Mary, I hope that I answered your question. So, an amazing question also, Luis. When we say it's not necessary, these are not grants. So at the end of the day, the lenders, it's not like they're getting public funds. They're just getting these funds basically to further lend that money. So look at it in this way. When, let's say that lender X, they get $1 million. It's not like we're giving them $1 million in order to lend and they can profit from it, because at the end of the day, they have to report that money to us back. So it's basically, it never goes to the CDFI as a profit. They can just charge you for the services. That's the only income that they see from these loans. But this money, at the end of the day, it goes back into the community. I filled in a loan request with this. Okay. Randy, I can give you my word that that's not going to happen. That is definitely not going to happen. We're not going to follow that book. And we actually know that this is usually an issue with these types of initiatives, like reaching out to people through emails. So we're going to be very, very cautious on not only the amount, but also the types of emails that we send, unless we truly believe that these are relevant to the community. We're not going to send them out. So whenever there's a new development into the programs, a new, let's say, lender joins, and it so happens to be in your community, you're gonna get that email, because it's also going to be targeted. It's not going to be like a blast for everyone. So it's not like someone from Buffalo is going to get a email informing them of a new CFI all the way in Riverhead, Tahani, I see that, by the way, I hope that I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So let's see. Tahani has a question. Are the loans only for the Absolutely, absolutely. And here's the thing, Tahani, is that these loans are, we don't really it's not set in stone who the CDFI should give the loans to. So for example, as I previously mentioned, a few CDFIs are also nonprofits on the side. So you can, sometimes you can see the scenario where you're enrolled into an EAC, right? You're into that. By the way, I know about EAC because I used to be at an EAC in the past. So I know the process. So you come with the business idea, right? The EAC helps you refine it, bringing it down to earth. You know, they teach you all of the processes, how to run the business and so forth. You get graduated. What happens after that is that either that EAC also has a lending arm, in this case a CDFI, or they can recommend you to one based on your performance in the, you know, in the business model canvas groups and so on. So long story short, to answer your question, it can be for any business. It's entirely at the discretion of the lender, but CDFIs usually do not have a problem with lending to businesses that are in the founding stages, as long as you can actually provide a business plan and so on. I see that Anton Williams had a question. Can these loans be used to purchase an existing business? So again, it also falls in line with what Tahani was asking, and is that at the end of the day, it's entirely at the discretion of the lender. So let's say that you provide a business plan on what you decide to do with this existing business. They can they say, oh, you know what? Yes, this is gonna help the community. This is gonna help save jobs. It's gonna create new jobs. It's gonna help the economy. So you know what? Yes, use the money for this. But at the end, again, entirely up to the lender. Okay, Sumaya, what is the cost of bonding? The cost of bonding completely, it varies depending on entirely the surety that you need. So what I would recommend you is, if you want, we can connect off the call, and I can direct you through the right people. I know that Wayman will be more than glad to assist you on this one. But again, it varies, you know. Sure thing, absolutely. So actually, Randy, if you go into our website, you know what? Let's go over there. Let's go over there. I'd rather just show you rather than just telling you. Okay, let me share my screen. Where am I? There we go. Okay, okay, is there a contact at the SSB? By the way, Randy, good suggestion. So Randy was asking, is there a contact at the SSBCI that we can talk to? Loan consultants want 20% of more or more. Okay, so let's say that you want to get in contact with one of the lenders, and again, this is our website. Let's say that you want funding for your program. Let's go into the Capital Access Program, right? It gives you an overview, right? And also some of these, look right here. This is a list of the enrolled lenders that are participating right now into CAP, and each of the programs has a list of who exactly you can contact. In this case, Jessica, I met her, amazing lady. Veronica over at CCNY, all of them. If let's say if you call each of these, they can right away help you with really great information. And I would actually encourage you to do that. Sure thing, Anton. Sorry about that. And yes, Dahani, I can definitely email you the presentation slides after we're done here.
How about the link to the website that you're on right now?
Absolutely, absolutely. So here's what we can do. So since Kenya has access to all of your emails, I'm gonna send her a list of all of the resources that you need, and as well as the presentation. That way you can access it at any given point.
Perfect.
No problem. No problem. Also, and I mean, I know that this is really not SSBCI and not entirely SSBCI related, but something that you might have come across is the MWB certification, both with the city and the state. The MWB division is in our agency, and nowadays the waiting times for certifications are really, really low. So once your business it's it has the majority, the right amount of time in order to get certified, I would definitely encourage you to do it. Why? Because it just boosts your opportunities of getting, let's say, contracts. If you're into government contracting, it just helps you a lot. It helps you a lot. It opens this pool of opportunities. Okay, so Randy is asking, are you going to cover a realistic expectation for a loan or grant? We don't want to guarantee a loan with our house. We have excellent credit. Okay, so usually these loans, they don't come with the burdens of bigger loans. Why is that? Because usually they're smaller in scale. So the loans for, let's say, the capital access program, the capital assistance program, usually what you're going to see is loans anywhere between $5,000 through $20,000, and they don't really ask you to guarantee a loan with, let's say, a property like the car or the or your house or any other material, anything material that you might have. So realistic expectations are entirely, again, dependent on a variety of factors, such as credit. Credit will be, I would say, the biggest one, but also the feasibility of, if you're in the founding stages, the feasibility of that plan, or your performance throughout time on your business. So again, I don't want to set expectations for something that can vary so much given an ever-changing environment. But I would definitely say that these loans by our partner lenders are usually way, way easier to secure than just going down the commercial ways, like, let's say that you walk into Chase and any other bigger banks. Again, it just goes back to the very definition of CDFIs. And it's community development financial institutions. They look into improving the community, helping the community, and that's why you see that most of them either have a nonprofit side of things where they host an EAC, they try to improve the community, and these programs they help them achieve that goal. Yes, Tahani, I see that you raised your hand.
I raised it earlier when I wanted to ask my question. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
I
It just
wrote the
popped up.
question in the chat. You answered it. Thank you.
Oh, okay. It just popped in my screen, but thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay.
That might explain. Oh, I see someone.
Yeah, there's one in the Q&A.
Well, Anton, this is from Anton Williams.
Mhm.
Can these loans be used to purchase an existing business? I already answered that question, but just to answer it again, yes, it all depends on the case that you make to the partnering lender. So if it aligns with the business, if you have a proper business plan on what to do with this business, you know, if you can actually demonstrate how getting this business not only can help your bottom line, but also how we can improve the community by saving jobs, creating new jobs, you know. Yes, but again, entirely up to the entirely to the discretion of the lenders. Okay, any more questions? Don't be shy, guys. Okay, so apparently we don't have any more questions.
It's fine. That is very fine. So I just want to be able to thank everyone for joining us this evening. This was awesome information. And if you didn't know about these awesome programs that Empire State Development has, you do now. Like Jose said, I will email you the handouts that he had from this presentation. And I received everyone's email address in the chat. So thank you. Definitely get you this information. I just wanted to let you know that these webinars are being brought to you by Reimagine series, webinar series, and look forward to the next webinar, which is next week, pricing and cost. The link will be sent to your email, if not tomorrow, by Monday the latest. Please register for that event as well. If there's no other questions, I see none around. I would like to just say have a good night.
Thank you so much, everyone, for having me. And Kenya, any moment you want to do another one of these, just let me know, and I'm all for it.
Okay.
Everyone, in the email that Kenya is going to send, you're also going to find my contact information. So feel free to always shoot an email, and I'll make sure to either answer myself with the information that is relevant, or also direct you in the right directions.
Is there a way that you could put your number in the chat? Because there was a question about the show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So let's see. How about can you put it, because oh no, you know what? Yes, I can see the options. So let me just so everyone can have it right away. I'm gonna include both my email and my phone number. So
if any other questions come about and you want to reach out to Jose, please take his contact information.
I'm gonna send thank you so much, Randy, by the way. Yes, I'm gonna send all of these through email, but in case you want to grab it right at this very moment, right, it's in the chat box. But you'll definitely see an email from me tomorrow.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.